Welcome back to Time to Change. And in the house today, Felipe Cofiño. He has over a decade of multidisciplinary, that's hard to say, HR executive leadership. He's a best-selling author. He is a podcast host. He's the co-host of multiple shows. He is a consultant, and he's an incredible LinkedIn legend. Felipe Cofiño in the house.
Thank you, Chason. It's an honor to be here. I'm a big fan of yours, so anytime I get a chance to hang out with you, it's a fun time.
Well, thank you, man. Over your shoulder, over your left shoulder, right above that awful Ohio State sign. I see that. We were talking about that before the show. If we have time, we'll get into that. That's really
You pointing to this?
I am pointing to that right there. The Backyard Adventures. Backyard Adventures, Miranda and Max's Adventures. His new book that's out. I have 2 copies, but I immediately sent them out to my friends. So look at that. That's fantastic. So people, scan that QR code, get that for your kids. My daughter, my youngest, is 30. So I bought this for some friends of ours that have younger kids that live in outside of Denver in Castle Rock, Colorado, and sent it to them. And I was excited, man. I was excited for you, excited for Nick, excited for the show.
And that actually, hopefully, the new ones that people purchase, there's going to be a little QR code in the back, and the QR code takes you to the little animated video that I made to go with it. So I'll send you the link to that video so you can send it on to people.
Yeah, when we air this, I'd love to have all those links so that we can show people anywhere they can go. And I mean, I didn't even open it. Like literally, I got it in from Amazon, and I immediately put it in another package and sent it off to our friends. I didn't even take a look at it, but it's exciting. I mean, it's super exciting, man. I know I was there for the live with you and your daughter and got to hear the story, but for any of our listeners that didn't hear that, I'd love for you to just kind of take a short overview of why you wrote this and what this is about.
Sure. It's a 20-year book in the making that started off with my daughter when she was about 3 or so, saying I asked her to let the dog out, our dog Max, in the backyard, and she said she was going to go out there with him. And after about 5 minutes, I went out to check on them, and she comes running up with the dog, and she's like, "Oh my God, Poppy, we got lost. It was so scary. Max was there with me, thank God, but we ran into other animals, and then we finally found our way home." And I'm like, "You were gone 5 minutes." I was saying to myself in my head, but I'm like, okay. And that's where the initial thing was like, that's like a fun little children's book. I love how her imagination just went crazy and wild. And she had a fun time being scared, you know? And so I always thought that should be a book that someone should write. Not me, and then over the years, as time went on, it kept on coming back in my head, and I'd talk about it, and I'd sketch and draw some of the animals or take a picture of the animals that are in our backyard, like the lazy squirrel that's in the book that's hanging on the branch. That's actually a real squirrel that does that. And so, and so about 3 years ago, Nick came to me about a LinkedIn book, about co-authoring a book, and I'm like, I'm not a writer. And she knows about LinkedIn, kind of sucked me in. And after that, another co-author book about our families. And that got me the bug to think, oh, maybe I can write this children's book. And so I did. And thanks to Nick, it got published.
I love Nick to death because she's doing such great work. I'm so proud of her for reaching out. And people say to me, your Time to Change podcast is about people creating change in the world. Why do you talk about books? I said, wait a minute. If you watch the episodes, you'll know that this is a person that is from another country, that came from Trinidad, that has fought off all these demons. It has bipolar and it's created, not only been an author, has been successful, but now has her own publishing company, and she's helping out all these other people. I'm like, that's a story in itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, okay, so you're never going to please everybody.
No, and it's true.
It's usually the people that I'm saying, no, you can't be on my show. they're like,
well, because there's always a story behind just what you see. And, like the one of the things about this book is that I want people to remember what it was to have to use our imagination before we had the iPads and the phones and all this technology. Because I
Yes.
mean, me and my friends, we came up with some wild ass stories of what we would do, and we were playing with sticks and mud and stuff, And
Yes.
so that's part of your childhood. So I want to encourage people to remember that and dive into that, because that's not typically what I talk about in the office at HR. So people are really a little shocked about the difference of children's book, HR, professional. Yeah, no.
That's incredible. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come right back. We're going to talk to our sponsors and then we'll be back with Felipe Cofiño in just 1 second.
Whether you're a nonprofit, church, school, or business, let ourmerchpage.com become an extension of your marketing team. They'll handle the design, sourcing, fulfillment, and management of your merchandise marketing needs so you can stay focused on what matters most, your business.
Welcome back. We've been talking to Felipe Cofiño. I love this conversation and I love your story and the story with your daughter and all the things that you put into this book. I want to stop for a second. I told you before the show that I used AI to look up and get some unique thing that most people may not know. And I found this cool Signal Chef series with you and your mom, Fina. And it was the Signal Financial Federal Credit Union. And you guys were making chicken empanadas. And I saved it. I was like, I am going to show this. This is so incredible. I watched it. I saved it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this recipe. And then I'm just like, I have to talk about that. How cool was that to
That
be
was
able to
fun.
do that?
That was a lot of fun. That was one of my prouder moments of creating something that added culture to the workplace. We have virtually a virtual cookbook that I created there of all our employees sharing different recipes from their different cultures. And I have three of them that I did. One was for my salsa, one was for my cinnamon roll pancakes, and the third one was with my mother. Because my mother's a little bit of a ham. She doesn't have a problem getting in front of a camera. At 93, she still has no problem. But there was also a little selfish motive. All my life, she's made these empanadas that I love. We all love them. She has to make hundreds of them because we all go crazy. And I keep on saying, teach us how to make it, teach me how to make it. And she's like, oh, I'll do it next time. I'll do it next time. So this was my way of, okay, not only are you going to teach me, I'm going to document it and save it so that I have it for the future. And we had fun, but I also wanted her to share her story. I wanted her to share how she came to this country and what she went through, and as we cooked, and that was part of the point. So every place I go to, I try to infuse a little bit of let's do a little chef's thing here, and try to share a little bit about our culture so we get to know each other better. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we talked about this briefly before the show, but art, food, and music.
Yep.
Art, food, and music just kind of seem to break through boundaries, biases. They just open up doors for people to communicate, even if they don't speak the same language. There's something magical about you hand somebody food and you break bread with them. That's the communication piece itself.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's why I think, I chose food as my primary one, because I always said to people, they're like, even at the place I'm at now, when I mentioned it, they're like, oh, yeah, I don't know why. I go, well, because everyone likes to eat, everyone has to eat, and some people like to cook. And then there's people that like to watch people cook.
Yeah.
My sister's one of them. She could watch cooking shows all day long. But then it's the stories behind them that bring us
Yeah.
together. And I think that those are the connections that people made that normally they weren't hanging out, but after they watched each other's videos, they're like, I didn't realize you did that in your country. I do the same thing. Or I didn't realize you grew up that way. I had the same experience. And it creates bonds.
Yeah, it's incredible. When I was in Nicaragua, I learned how to make naca tamales.
Ooh.
I already knew how to make tamales. I had no idea there was a thing called naca tamales. And I'm learning, I mean, these things are massive. This is like a meal in itself, and they're huge. And I'm just like, the process of this, like, when you make tamales, like it's like an assembly line. You
Oh,
just make
yeah.
everything. Naca tamales, like, take that up one more notch.
Like
And
you
then
get factory
just,
workers to help out.
I mean, it's like, I think there were 6 of us, and we were doing all these. We all had a different role in this whole thing, from the banana leaves to the finished product. And I was just like, I cannot believe that this is happening. But
It reminds me of those played up moments in the hotel when we have to plate up sit for banquets, and we all had our, okay, you poured a drizzle over this one vegetable. That's your only job. And you put this vegetable on the plate, so yeah, it's teamwork. It's amazing teamwork.
Yeah, it does. It forms those bonds. You start talking about it, the whole thing. And I think that's a perfect segue into the things that you have done in the past and the things that you're doing now. Talk about, because we're getting in kind of interesting times right now. People will go as far as to say, like, um, make dramatic statements about the world being on fire and things of that nature. I think we are in a very complicated time where we need strong voices. So I really appreciate your voice and how you show up, how you communicate, and how you continue to try to bring people into the conversation. So let's talk a little bit about your work, what you do, and your background in human resources.
Sure. Well, I mean, I gotta give credit to a lot of my, I think, experience and knowledge to Hyatt Hotels, because for 23 years, that's where I learned HR. I was in the operations for 5 years. I wanted to be a general manager. And then I just had an amazing HR director that was just real. Like, he didn't make it about himself. He wasn't overly diplomatic. He called a spade a spade. If a manager was being asked, like, you're right, they were being asked, that shouldn't happen. Let me address it. Versus, oh no, you got to understand, they were under stress. That's why they were screaming and yelling at you. Like, no, the behavior is not excusable. But he was really just an amazing guy. And so I got into HR because of him. And Hyatt taught me how to do things the right way. I mean, how to do it, not only just compliance and legally, but the culture. They didn't try to create a culture. They just had it. It was from the ground up. I mean, in the hotels I worked at, we represented at least 50 different countries and spoke more than that languages. And it was something that you always were meeting somebody fascinating and new. So that taught me a lot of the foundation of what a workplace could be, the benefits of doing it that way, not only to the employees, but to your clients, to the brand of the company, and to the financials. I mean, besides turnover and all that, people look at how you treat your employees nowadays more than ever. And if you don't treat them well, they don't want to do business with you, because chances are you might treat the client that way. So reputation risk is a huge thing. After the 23 years, I got recruited into finance. Now, I had a degree in finance and HR. My father was a big finance guy. And I thought, you know what, maybe there's an opportunity. My kid's going to college. I can make a little bit more money. So I took the opportunity and I went there, and it was the worst, absolutely worst culture you can imagine. Toxic, lying, cheating, just horrible. Like, they didn't want everything that you wanted to improve. They're like, no, we don't have time for that. They actually said to me, stop being so happy, or stop trying to improve things. I'm like,
Wow.
I had like 20 things I wanted to. So from there, when I went to the Signal, actually, they let me loose. They said, we need someone to just rebuild HR, from the bottom up. And it was an amazing 10 years where I was able to build it up, to create things that were compliant and legally accurate, create culture things that stayed and are still to this day part of that culture, even though I'm not there. And those are the things that I think really helped me. And then from there, I went into, dabbled a little bit in education, and then I landed in a nonprofit, a PRB, Population Reference Bureau. The most pleasant surprise in my career that I could ever ask for. It has been such an eye-opening experience. Also very chaotic, because a year in, everything went crazy.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I have the pleasure and the honor of working the most amazing team. When you have people that do it because they care, and that's what I always respected people like you that did nonprofit work. I don't think I understood how much you cared about the work you did and how much blood, sweat, and tears you do. It wasn't a job just for a paycheck. It was a job because it was important. And that kind of mission, I'm like, I can get behind this. So it's been an honor to be able to help improve them in certain areas, and also learn so much from them, and then have us work as a team to move forward together. So it's been a win-win. And from that, on the side, during the pandemic, I had Cofiño Consulting that I built to do training and take all the free stuff I was offering on LinkedIn. And I was like, all right, let me see what I can do when I retire on the side to make some money. And so I've been doing training. I have a training I'm doing for a country club coming up soon. I've been doing speaking events. I will help recruit for certain jobs for people if they need it. And I do career coaching. And that's been something I want to do when I retire. That's been my passion. But in between all that, the opportunity to put things into writing, to leave a little bit of legacy, thanks to Nick, that was something that was really pleasantly surprising. And what it opened up, and I'll end with this, is it opened up to me writing this retirement book that I wanted to write. I've had 2 experiences with 2 employees where we've tried this pilot idea of how to like have them retire in a gradual way that benefited the company and the employee. And I was like, you know what? I was talking to a financial advisor that used to work for us, and he's like, you should put that and make a book out of that. Now that you've written a book, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will. And so I've been starting to work on that, and that's been on my weekends and evenings when I get inspired, I just add a little bit more to it. So that's to come. That's going to take a little bit longer than a children's book. Given the illustration's not easy, but but that's why I think it's good to tap into your creative mind and keep on learning on your professional side.
Good for you. No, I love all that. I want to step back for a second and give you an opportunity to say what PRVs does. So I don't know that everybody understands what they do. There's a lot of nonprofits in the world. So tell a little bit about what they do.
It's not the easiest thing to explain. The best way I can explain it is that we use research and data that we have to help make significant changes around health, policy, aging, children's health, fertility, all these things. And we use data from the census, from the Department of Labor. We are the go-to people when people need that data. We had a thing called the World Population Data Sheet that people would have on their walls all around the world because it was the only place that you could get demographics about people, their age, length of life, areas of where they lived, because it really helps people identify areas that need help with access to more medical or more contraceptives or aging or learning about how important. Like one of the things they do is share data around the benefits of social interaction and movement for people aging. Now, movement, I think we all knew, but the data that they show about how impactful social interaction is as you get older is staggering almost. So, so that's the thing that I'm slowly becoming a data nerd. So I wasn't the data. Like I always appreciated data. I always wanted to use data, but now I'm starting to get understanding of why people get fascinated because like, whoa, wait, why is that such a high percentage? And then it makes you get curious.
Yeah.
And so they are really just an amazing. They've been around for 95 years, and they really do help provide data and research to help improve health and wellness globally.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna talk about all your shows now because man, I can't even keep up. Like I'm just like I have a quarterly show that we do. Every once in a while we'll throw in a monthly thing that's live, but man, you are everywhere it seems like. So let's talk about first Workplace Wellness Hour because season 4 is coming up, right?
Yes. And let me say this, I do have my boundaries where I do allow myself to not get burnt out because some of these shows, as you'll learn, these are not all weekly shows. So I would burn out. But so Workplace Wellness Hour is coming back on Monday the 15th with Sumana Jetty and Ashley Fluellen. And that's where we really talk about how to improve the workplace. We share different ideas, different trends that are happening, different topics to tackle. And we focus on physical, mental, and financial wellness, all three. So we have guests that come on quarterly, if not more frequently, and we invite people to come up and join us. And that's something that we do bi-weekly. So it's every other Monday.
Yeah.
Now, every other Sunday, I do Careers, Chaos, and Coaching that just came back for season 3 with Melissa Houston, where we provide insight, knowledge, and help around your career, or looking for a job, moving up in your career, coaching, and we add a little chaos because Melissa and I, as you know, don't always agree on the path to take. Like our paths take us to the same location, but she wants to take the wooded path. I might want to take the city path, so we have a lot of fun with the chaos and people tend to enjoy that. It's a little bit of entertainment with the information. And then Social Saturday Chat. That is a weekly show that we've been doing for over 3 years. That is something that I co-host with Mac Laubscher, Joel Felstein, Lark Ambrose, Martha Lobos, Zion, and Thurman Trotman. And so, and that's something that there's so many of us that we all co-host together. So that's not a show that I have to like truly manage per se. And then I do have a new one. And again, I want it. I know, but here's the thing. You laugh, but this is one that I'm excited about because this is one that I'm not going to, okay, it's like, remember growing up how they had like the ABC special where they interviewed somebody important, but it wasn't like a monthly or regular thing. Yeah. It was just like a sporadic, oh, we have a special interview. Yeah. Future Ready Voices is going to be that. It's going to be finding leaders that are really focused on the future and they're speaking about it and the future of work, what it looks like, the challenges and how they're overcoming it. And the first person I'm interviewing is my very own CEO, Dr. Jennifer Schuba, who has just an amazing history. She has been doing, she was a university professor. She has written books. She's done a TED Talk. She is just really amazing. She goes globally and speaks on different panels. She interacts with dignitaries. Just like a person that when I met her, I'm like, how did I not know about you before this? Yeah. So she's going to be my first interview. And I have 2 other people that I'm reaching out to that maybe once a quarter, I will bring them on for Future Ready Voices to talk about where we are about the future of work and what are they doing.
Wow, that's incredible. No, that's exciting. And I've seen all of the shows that you mentioned. When I can make them, I absolutely want to make them because they're all fantastic. And Miss Eyebrow, like I sit there like I have hockey scars from from busting my head and like this is 22 stitches, this is 15, but she's got like that thing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
my goodness.
See, I have it too. Me and my mother have it, and we're the only ones that can do it. And my kids freak out when I do it, but she does it, and she doesn't realize she's doing it. That's the thing. And it's got some powerful like mojo behind it.
She's spicy. Yeah, she's got some, but she's super intelligent, and I think that you two play off each other really well. You're right. That chaos is fantastic.
She's definitely a sister that I wish I grew up with because I think we would have had a lot of fun. But she and I we want the same thing for people. We just have different ideas of how to do it, and so it works because there isn't one path for everybody. Everyone's different. God knows. Yeah. If I had people that were like me, I'd get tired of myself very fast.
Yeah, what do they say? The world would be a boring place if we all were the same. Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Well, I love what you're doing. I love all the things that you're in, and I appreciate the work you're doing in nonprofits. And thank you for being a voice, not just on LinkedIn, but on all platforms where you, shine a light and try to bring people in together. Because we need, I think, more than ever right now, one of the big things is we need each other. We need community, and we need to lean on each other. We need to check on people. We need to make sure that everybody's okay, really ask the questions, really dig in, get behind the mask and let people have the safe space to be able to say, man, I'm not well, or I'm struggling.
And not make it about religion, politics, or anything else. Make it about being human.
Yes.
Let's not wait until we get invaded by aliens one day to come together. Let's do it before that. All right, come on.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Make sure, folks, that you scan that QR code above his shoulder there, right above that awful OU.
Oh. My wife would definitely. I almost wore this shirt because my wife and daughter are from Ohio State, so I got to represent with his little M over there.
I know. And we were in a live show. I want you to show the book, but we were in a live show, and it was about the book. And I made a comment about Go Blue, and I mean, comments are just rolling. They're rolling. And his daughter picked that out of all the ones. And so when they went to her to say something, she goes, first of all, let me just address the elephant in the room here. And she went right to that comment and was just like, and oh my goodness, I could not. I was dying. I was dying. But
It's like, I mean, she is a diehard, and yeah, when she saw that, like I missed it. I'm like, where did she see that? Because you're right, because there were so
they
many
were
comments. Like,
flying
yeah,
because there were so many people there, and the comments were flying.
but she's like, nothing is more important than clarifying this first.
Man, I appreciate you being on the show. We have been with Felipe Cofiño. It has been a pleasure to have you on here, brother. I thank you so much for being part of the show and for all that you do. So thank you for being part of it.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for all you do. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you.
Yeah. We will catch you next time on Time to Change. I'm Chason Forehand, and Dom will be back with us next.